Yo, Kaspa family, is Kaspa headed to 5 cents or are we past that? And are we headed to 20 cents next? All right, this is something we have to keep in mind. And I'm going to go in this video, walk you through and break it down what I think is going to be the next major move for Kaspa and across the crypto market. Okay, because there's a lot of indicators pointing to several things. So let's start off at Kaspa. Again, we're seeing very incredible consolidation around 8.5 cents. Now, this is great. The daily indicator is reducing shorter time frame sell pressure, and that is bullish, very bullish for the near term. I think with this next week could very well see 10 cent once again. Let's take it over to Kraken. Now, again, we look at the 3-day chart, and again, macro indicators are pointing up. Again, very healthy time to load your bags. We're at a low point for its deep moving average. This moving average has been pointing up. The bottom has already been in. Where else do we see that? We see that on Ethereum. We see that on Solana. Again, that bottom, it's in and it's long gone. We're moving up. And it's not just like, here's another really interesting chart. Okay, now check these other charts out. These are very interesting. Look at this. This is the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10. Okay, so this is the dominance of the top 10 cryptos versus the rest of the crypto market. This could very much show where alt season can start. Now, this is a very healthy, very strong indication that we are at a low. Okay, this indicator, this deep macro indicator, look at it, and it moves in years. Okay, these are the cycles for crypto. Now, every single one of these tops was very much had a strong indication that we are at a peak for alt season. Okay, every single one of them. All right, so it's like, man, you want it spoon fed to you. Well, here you go. Okay, you got these macro tops, every single one of these, and now you see the bottom. Likewise, this is going to be the perfect indication, or one of many indications that we are at the macro low for alt season. This is the time where you load up heavy with Kaspa as the leading altcoin. I mean, it's not even an altcoin, it's the coin. It's the coin. It is the upgrade of crypto. Now, this is the time to load up heavy. This is time to maximize exposure in Kaspa. Likewise, in its Kaspa meme coins. And especially with layer 2s coming up. I mean, geez, Nacho took a big hit recently with the whole, drama going down with Shy and all. But still, it doesn't change the narrative as the first fair launched token on Kaspa. Kango also doing work with their animations, one of a kind, pixel artwork, professional studio grade. Again, very low, very much at a low point, healthy floor level that these meme coins are creating, and with smart contracts coming extremely soon. I mean, it could be in a matter of weeks, if not in this coming month, with Casplex and even Eager Labs released launch month for their testnet with a Q4 2025 estimated release for their main net. Now, this is incredible because this is EVM compatibility. When Kaspa releases the ZK opcodes, that's going to bring the atomic composability. You're going to be able to transact across these layer 2s and across other chains as well, EVM chains. That's going to be really, really incredible. Kaspa is going to take the lead, technologically speaking, not just as a layer 1, but also as a programmable layer. With this layer 2, with smart contracts, it's going to be the top of the game. It's going to surpass Ethereum once these smart contracts release. So this is incredible time to load up heavy with Kaspa. Again, we look on the monthly time frame, we see how undervalued Kaspa is and how much room there is to go, not just at 10 cents, but all the way back up to this 12, 13 cent range. Is going to be much more fairly valued with the bigger picture. And then we look, of course, going into 2020, end of 2025, I think very much we can see a breakout from this 20 cent mark. Once this breaks out, that's the explosive growth. And again, we have to keep in mind that, in my last video, I was talking about price predictions. And that prediction is not assuming that we are in a bull market. If we are in a bull market, we're going to see that 20x potential for Kaspa, 30x potential. But if we are slow and steady, speaking just on the chart alone, I mean, once we break from 20 cents, it's going to be slow and steady gains, I think, all the way to 70 cents, even to $1. It's a very conservative, pre-bull run start. It's like a pre-bull run action. That's what that price prediction is all about. It's not that crazy run that we're really looking for, but it's that like that pre-run. It's that run that will take a lot of the early holders. They'll be selling their bags for cheap. Institutions are going to be loading up, and once they load up, they're going to let it take the roof off of Kaspa, and it's going to go to crazy heights. We're talking a few dollars here. That's what I think is the bull market potential for Kaspa. We're looking at the crypto dominance, excluding the top 10, basically being an indicator for altcoin season. And now we look at total 2 divided by total, basically looking at the dominance of altcoins, basically everything besides Bitcoin. And again, look at this low. Look at this low. We are at an all-time low with this deep macro indicator. Okay, so it's, there's not so much data, but since these altcoins have been out, and with respect to Bitcoin, you see that we are at an extreme low. So I think we're going to see an incredible, and I mean incredible, yet it is delayed altcoin season. And is this cycle going to be like other cycles? No, I don't believe so. Are we at the bottom of this cycle? I think we very much are at a bottom, or we'll be consolidating at this low for several, it could be for the summer, it could be several months. But we're at this low, okay? And you see it not just here as well. We are at a low. We may have to consolidate for some more time. You see we're sliding down this, this low Bollinger Band. And again, you see like this about 4 months sliding down. 4-month downtrend, 1, 2, 3, 4, of the dominance degrading. So we see this type of action, and we're now at an all-time low with these indicators. Like, when it hits this low, that is a huge indication that we are these altcoins are undervalued. And with Kaspa, finally completing Satoshi's original vision of peer-to-peer electronic cash without these centralized entities, or without a the L2 tower, the Lightning Network. It's not Lightning Network for Bitcoin is not a solution. It is not scalable. It cannot onboard billions of people. It still needs to settle transactions on Bitcoin. It's not scalable. You won't be able to. The fees will be through the roof to onboard so many people, and you need to have people on both ends of the transaction online at the same time. Like, that's just stupid, gonna be honest. A Lightning Network is not a solution at all. There's no L2 for Bitcoin that is a solution for peer-to-peer electronic cash. That is what Kaspa accomplishes, while still maintaining the security, not just maintaining, but slightly increasing security of Bitcoin fundamentally. With such high scalability, it allows you to decrease confirmation times on a transaction to still have the same security. So if you wait longer periods with your transaction, your Kaspa is going to be even more secure than Bitcoin could ever be. I mean, to a point. To a certain point, it starts forming this logarithmic chart where, the increased security is so minuscule, because after so much confirmation time, it just comes down to whether the attacker has 51% of the hash rate or more. When you have 49% of the hash rate, like, this type of confirmation time is very important to securing the transactions. And it just all comes down to percentages and percent chance of success for attacking the network if you have such huge percent of the network hashing power. So Kaspa is just, it secures its security like none other, its scalability like none other. So we already know what's going to happen. And we take a look even at the M2, Bitcoin Global M2. And this is also very interesting. So we see here Bitcoin, we're at June 8th right now. We're on a Sunday. So we're going to see, this thing get updated. We could very well see this coming week be some nice growth for Bitcoin. That'd be awesome. And of course, the entire crypto market. So the M2 is continuing to continue to rise. And we see this delay, this, whether it's 10-week, whether 3-month, these different delays. The Bitcoin we see with respect to the global M2 liquidity, the 21 major central banks, this type of money supply, global money supply, it's linked. You can see a trend with how Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin, because this money eventually just comes right into Bitcoin, similar to even how gold is working right now. Like, I've been keeping an eye on gold, and it's been consolidating at this level, creating, very much, it seemed like it's, I don't know if it's peaked or not. It looks like it's perhaps peaked, but it basically consolidating. And while gold consolidates, we've seen this happen before, where it consolidates for a prolonged period of time, several years, and then boom, this is going to be explosive growth for crypto. That's what happened back down here, and I think very much it could happen again. So we see with various indicators, various charts pointing to a similar picture. Total market cap, basically everything excluding Bitcoin, with respect to gold, again, very much undervalued and headed up. It's starting to flatline on the macro monthly MACD, meaning shorter term buy pressure is overwhelming short term sell pressure. So that's why I definitely do believe we'll see Kaspa at 20 cents before we see it again retest this low of around 5 cents. Is the end of the game? Is the end of the line if we have to retest 5 cents? Absolutely not. That's just another incredible opportunity to load up heavy, and I mean heavy. So you look across crypto, and it's just like that low point. I mean, are we going to see it again? I don't believe so, because we are in an uptrend. Okay, you see this uptrend pretty clearly when you look at like these macro indicators that look at the moving averages, and it's really pointing up. And once it points up, like, it's just going to keep this momentum moving forward. And with all this development, underway, and with the altcoin season at all-time low, and Bitcoin dominance honestly starting to peak, we're going to see an opportunity for Bitcoin to consolidate or to continue to rise, while these altcoins, Ethereum, Kaspa, for them to really be powered up. So that's my thoughts on crypto right now. We'll see with this daily indicators what it can mean. It does look like it's bottoming and has room to retest this 110K range, at least Bitcoin. So this drop down to here, it made Kaspa retest 8 cents. And this 8 cent mark was extremely bullish how fast it came right back up. So the crash happened quick and the rebound was fast. And the fact that Kaspa only dropped down to 8 cents was very, very bullish for Kaspa. So the fact that it was like it barely came back down, I mean, that's great. Really great, because the other cryptos they fell down much more than Kaspa did. So yep, it's looking good. Bitcoin had that retest of low Bollingers. Now it has a chance to retest the high on the daily time frame. I think that's going to happen. We're going to have to see, how things play out. But the M2 is also moving up. Global liquidity is up, and it's like you look across the government, even what's going on with Trump, and it's like kind of crazy. Dang, even Trump and not Warren Buffett, Elizabeth Warren, they both agree that they need to remove the debt ceiling. What is this? The debt limit. They need to just get rid of it. What that does is it's just going to be short-term price action stays choppy, but infinite money printing. Like, literally, there's no end to it. There's no ceiling. They could just be free to print money without the consequence, or not even. Of course, there's gonna be consequence, but there's no rule to say, hey, you can't just be printing so much money. So this is extremely bullish for crypto. Dollar has no breaks. Money printer goes brrrah. Bitcoin goes to the moon. That's how it works. And mysterious whale number 2 continues to accumulate, at these bottoms, at these dips. It just keeps accumulating. Pretty crazy how they just keep going. Dang, even AI, what's up with this? Yeah, stablecoins on Kaspa. It's the fastest stablecoin settlement chain. Not just the fastest, but the most secure and decentralized. For AI to be realizing this also says a lot. Like, you can't do your research and not come to the same conclusion. It's pretty obvious, and it just comes down to big money needs to accumulate a lot of Kaspa before they could start advertising it. And that's what we're seeing with whale number 2, this mysterious wallet. We don't know who it is, but they continue to accumulate. They're not done getting their bag. Once they get their bag, they're gonna the rabbit will come out of the hat, and they will start advertising pretty heavily, in my opinion. We'll see who it is, but it's going to be big and it's going to be awesome. The halving is just crazy with Kaspa. Like, imagine you right now, it's so much Kaspa out in the open market from these miners, whether they want to sell or not. And then just down the line, look in 3 years. Look at it. It's so much less Kaspa available to sell. So by then we'll be 3 years with smart contracts, and the whole ecosystem will be a whole other beast. So with smart contracts, and imagine all the adoption that they could allow, with Kaspa being the fastest, most secure decentralized settlement layer, not just for stablecoins, but literally every single crypto technology. It's just unbelievable. Not just crypto technology, but data networks for real world application. Like, dang, I can't even imagine in 3 years from now, especially with Dagnite most likely going to be released. My guess is in about a year. So 3 years from 2 years of Dagnite, 3 years of smart contracts, it's gonna be wild, really wild. And even so, you see stuff with like Solana, for example. I had a big pump recently. I mean, not a big pump, like a few percent, but you see big groups are implementing. Look at it, implementing a stablecoin with XRP getting added to crypto settlement index, basically for ETFs, like the precursor for ETFs. Over $100 million investment. Like, these type of things, you just see what happens with crypto. And if it could happen with XRP, which is such a, like, Kaspa literally is superior on every single level to XRP. Like, it's faster, it's more decentralized, it's more scalable. Like, well, decentralization, it's tough to exactly compare with XRP because, okay, they basically, like, their coin supply is like over 50% owned by XRP company, like Ripple. Okay, but their XRP ledger they have like validators, and people want to argue that having like X amount of validators is decentralized, but in my opinion, it's really not. Kaspa is the most proof of work with these home miners. It's just the most decentralized network you could possibly achieve, just similar to Bitcoin. But if XRP can do it, they get this, stable coins. These companies, these banking groups will want to use Kaspa as their rails for their own stablecoin because it's faster, cheaper, more secure, more decentralized. It checks every single box, and that's what everyone's really looking for. But it's going to take time to really understand the system, because you can't just trust it. You have to first understand it, and then you understand that it is trustless. You don't need to trust it because it's fully decentralized and operates completely on its own without any middleman or central entity to cause any sort of interference or point of failure, risk of failure. A bit late for investors for this bull run. Like, people thinking this bull run is going to be like how it always operates, the same time frame, but I don't see that at all. And honestly, doesn't look like charts are painting that picture. And again, look at this, okay? It couldn't be more clear that we are at a low. So when does this run start for altcoins? We'll have to see. Does it start in 2026? I honestly think it's going to start in 2026, or at least the end of 2025, something around this time period. I think the bottom was in for altcoins, but it still could technically hit this low Bollinger. Still could wait some more time. But when we see this run, like with just the data here, okay, this indicator didn't even have the data down from back in this time frame from 2014 to 2017 or 2018. But, once it started getting this data from right here, it was able to predict this massive run. And again, this massive, I guess, dump for altcoins. Reliable indicators when you look at the macro time frame, honestly. And again, if you want to, check out my Discord server, my Patreon, I'm telling them real time what I'm thinking, what I've seen with the market. When Kaspa dropped down to 8 cents, I'm like, this is the buying opportunity. This is the incredible buying opportunity. Once it bounced, I said it was going to likely bounce from 8 cents, just like Bitcoin. I said it was likely going to drop down to around 100K. It touched down to like 100.3K. And once it did that, I'm like, all right, it did it. Now we're going to likely see a bounce with Bitcoin and Kaspa. Boom, we saw that bounce. And while it was rising, I'm like, all right, don't sell. I'm telling my Patreon subscribers, do not sell. This is not a place to sell. We're gonna have to this is more likely to see this momentum is going to take Bitcoin, Ethereum, Kaspa to greater heights. So now we're at a point, like we're at a bit of like an average, but I do believe that we're more likely to see range the price gains up to here. For Bitcoin to retest 110K, 111K, while Kaspa has a lot more room to test at least this 10-cent range before it can have an opportunity to test back to 12 cents and continue to rise from there, from 12 cents to 20 cents. My last video, I broke it down, those levels with the Fibonacci retracement. But that's my thoughts on it. I do believe the bottom's in, and that right now we had explosive growth. Now this is the retest. Now we're going to continue to see this rise in the coming months. Yeah, pretty much. And also, if you don't yet have a Tangem, highly recommend getting this Tangem because there's a great discount for the next week, a 20% off, promo code Scape. Check out these Tangem wallets because honestly, they're pretty cool. We got some, even this Stealth Edition for Tangem, doesn't have any logo on it. Really, total anonymity. Pretty nice. You got this Sakura tree or whatever that's called. Looks pretty cool. Even the American flag, pretty nice. Or get yourself a Kaspa one. Can't go wrong with that. Again, 20% off. Usually it's like 10% off. And now this is 20% off. Likely until June 16. So get it while you can if you haven't already, because this is an excellent cold storage solution. It also works with the ring. If you want to get a ring, again, 20% off on a ring. Rings are also pretty cool, but I would suggest getting a card ring. It looks like you actually need to take it off every single time in order to use it. So it's not as convenient, perhaps, as you might have thought, but it's still pretty cool. Definitely get a 3-card set. 2 cards are necessary to reset a wallet. So having a third one in case one breaks or whatever, one gets lost, I don't know. It's a good backup to have 3. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It covers everything. So on that note, I'm so hyped, and peace out.